Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome to the channel. This is the Olsons Gone Again. Today we're going to be installing a Curt 15928 Class 5 weld-on receiver hitch onto our 2002 Freightliner. Alright, so here are the parts. Looks very simple. Have the left side and the right side that hang down from the frame. And then you got the 4x4 tube that has the 2-inch receiver onto it. And then there is the kind of the specs on it. 16,000 pound, 1,600 pound tongue weight. Made in the USA. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, so I have the air compressor airing up the suspension on the truck so we can determine where the ride height is of the truck and where the hitch is going to mount off the ground. So it looks like the truck is in its aired up height. Now we can decide how we're going to do that. And all I did when I built the truck, we brought an airline back from a manifold and ran it out the frame of the bed, and it's just a quick couple. We use it for airing up anything on the jobs or on the job site, the campsite, and it works really well for inflatables, pool stuff, air mattress. Then I put a we just put a straight through back-to-back air chucks on it, air connectors, whatever. Works pretty good. Now, we know we want to have this mounted. I'd like to have the 2-inch receiver at between 22 and 24 inches off the ground. The top of this is 5 1/4 off the frame, or off the bottom of this, off the frame. Or 29 minus 5, 24, which would be just exactly where we want to put that. Now, we need to mount this. This will eventually be welded in place. We're probably going to keep it back slightly off from the bed. The frame extends out to the back. We got about 1.5 inch lip on here, so we're going to stay back just a little bit. And this cutout here works right around the tab that holds the bed onto the truck. So that looks pretty good. Alright. Now, I need to draw a mark. Alright, I'm going to use a 1/4 inch bolt to hold this in place. Again, this is going to be welded on. It's not going to be held on by a 1/4 inch bolt. Alright. Let's see what the other side's going to look like. Oh, beautiful. Now, all right, now we need to get this hitch centered up and trued up to the truck. So I swapped out the 1/4-inch bolts for 1/2-inch bolts so they fit the hole that's in the bracket for the weld-on receiver hitch. And I have taken some level readings, and I have compared them with how the truck sits, which isn't too far off, but the square tube does not fit in the square hole equally. So I was looking at how much off the weld-on piece is here. So I think what I need to do is take a little bit of material off because it's conflicting with the bed mount under here. So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to take a little material off so I can get this plane in the same plane as this plane, or this piece of metal. You can see it looks like about a 1/2 a bubble off there, and it's a lot closer there. We're just barely off. So I'll get that done, and then we'll check that out. Okay, so I have that bracket off the truck, and I think so that I can get this piece here to slide farther back, because it sits this way underneath the truck. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my wafer grinder and just take a little bit off from here so that it doesn't interfere with that mounting bracket, and we'll see how that fits. Get that wire out of me and set it in there. Well, definitely let it go back. There's no doubt about that. Now we'll see. How far off is it? We are just about exactly the same as this. So when I take this reading here, or when I put the level on there, I just pushed it forward. Put that level on there, I put that level on here. It's very close. I think that will work. Now, Or are we this way? We're pretty high back this way now, so. Oh. All right, so I have both sides trimmed so that they don't have any conflicts with the frame. Whoops, let's put it this way. We're pretty darn true that way. I'm good that way. It looks like it's off, but according to the rest of it, it's all that way. So we're about the same. We've got fairly even, or we will have fairly even joints to weld on the receiver hitch. So now we need to center, and I've already made some marks. My center mark is here. I've got it marked with a Sharpie. I measured from the inside of the frame to the inside of the frame. That's halfway. That should be the center of the bed. The center of the frame should be pretty close to where those bolts are. Should be all the way. So we're going to use the Milwaukee laser, and we're going to shoot a laser mark. But since I can't see the mark, I need this here, and I still can't see the mark. So the mark is right there. Let's light up here, and then the edge of that pad should be the mark, which then means if we line the laser up with that mark on the edge, and we put the receiver in the center, that should be centered. I have my tape measure. And we're just right around 3 inches, and we're at 1.5. So that is exactly where we want that to be. Now we'll take our soapstone and mark off on that tube where we need to clean that so that we can weld it. All right, so we have the weld-on frame welded up, top, bottom, both sides. Now we're going to do a little prep work on cleaning up where the weld surfaces will be to the truck. So we will be ready to bolt and weld this frame receiver hitch to the truck. Well, we have it all welded up. We have it all primed and painted. Now it's time to set her up in place and get ready to weld it to the frame. All right, it's all in place, ready to be welded to the frame. We're about 22 and a half inches to the top of the receiver off the floor. Well, there it is, in place, ready to be welded. We're about 21 and a half inches to the top of the receiver off the floor. I think that'll be just about perfect. All right, we're back on the receiver hitch project. We have pretty much wrapped this one up. So it's a Curt 16,000 pound rated for towing, 1,600 pound tongue weight, weld on receiver hitch. And we'll show how we got this thing welded on here. We notched it a little bit more so that it's not affecting the tab that holds the bed on the truck. And then I had them weld down both sides, but we left the bottom open so that if any moisture gets behind that, it has some fighting chance to get out of there. And we did the same thing on the other side. So that's it. There is the weld-on hitch on our 2002 Freightliner day cab. Now what my ultimate plan is that when we put the car on, we're going to have our two ramps. They're sitting up on the top of that rack. And we're going to build a rack that fits in the receiver hitch so that the ramps can hang on that. So, and with that being said, thanks for watching the Olsons Gone Again. If you liked the video, hit that like button. Please subscribe. Click on the notification bell so that you never miss out on one of our videos.